hero that's good against SD or Luna?
Klings.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Shadow Demon is also pretty bad against Klings because like all his damage comes from his ult, so the illusions do nothing. And he's an incredibly strong laner. Weaver plus Klings, you have the Beatles on you. The Searing Arrows are gonna hurt a ton.
It's good outside the Mars arena as well. That's a real because against Mars you normally pick a ranged carry. Am I correct in saying?
5 seconds.
Yeah,
I mean,
possible. Yeah, you like a Drow or some Terror Blades and Medusa. Klings also, of course, fills that same role. Makes a lot of sense. And Sanking really hates playing against double range. Like if they get a sentry down, he will not have a fun lane at all.
No, not at all. So what do they need to close up their drafts here? What are Navi looking to ban to prevent OG?
Do you think this could be a? Do you think this is ever a mid Clinks?
Oh, Thompson would do that, but I don't know.
Really,
I've seen it the other time. It looked so bad in mid lane. I think just leave it as a carry and pick something like an OD or something.
Uragi does play Clinks and BMZ doesn't. BZM, sorry, doesn't. So I would assume a safe lane Clinks.
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes the most sense also against Sanking. But I do like OD here for both teams. I just think OD middle is an insane hero right now. It's so good.
It is very strong. I'm kind of surprised actually that it hasn't been touched. It seems to be like really hot right now, this hero.
Is it like really popular in Europe? Because in SEA, everyone picks it.
I think it's getting to the point where it's really popular. But it's also like a bit team specific. Because like against a Tundra Secret, it was first phase, right?
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
And here it's not picked, so it really depends on how
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Do you think it could get banned out? Is it a ban here at all?
I mean, maybe. I don't maybe see exactly why it should be banned. Like, except that it's a really strong hero.
Yeah, like it doesn't counter anything, but it's just a good hero.
It's not really figured out, I think, yet as a hero. What is it? It's good against some stuff, but like when do you actually pick this hero and when do you not? Stuff.
Yeah.
I always like it when both teams are looking for the same position. They're both effectively looking for their mids here. So the bans, what sort of mids are they looking for? Very different mids here, or do you think it's a case of everyone's banning out everything everyone wants?
OG's turn to ban.
I think there's a puck ban, a battle ban. Makes a lot of sense. They're just banning heroes that can cause like a lot of chaos in the backline. Like puck is super elusive, even though you have Disruptor and Sanking. It's not very easy to catch him at all. And what would be a good hero for you for OG to line up to round up the lineup? Like they do have a lot of stuns, a lot of damage. Perhaps someone that can go in first for the Mars would be nice.
I think Navi is looking at Lina probably. It would be my guess.
Yeah, Lina is a staple for sure. I still think OD is quite strong for Navi. Just to save.
Could also be a thing.
Yeah, Void Spirit, a classic. Yeah.
Because I do think that Luna is a carry that you don't really need a semi carry because she can take as much farm as is given to her pretty much. She farms so fast, right? So you can't just play Void Spirit mid here, I think, and you're fine, like going late game or whatever. Lina might be a bit too greedy in terms of farm priority.
That is true.
As for OG, I do think they need a guy to actually take farm. So on the contrary, there, OG needs somebody to clear creep waves.
Leshrac.
Okay. Shrek. What does that do for you, Black? What does that solve in their draft?
Well, I feel like they're doubling down on magic damage teamfight for sure. It gives them more tower pressure because Luna early game definitely doesn't really want to hit towers. You want to just be in your triangles, farm up as fast as you can, and Lesh kind of solves the problem with the Edict. With SD, Lesh is also pretty strong together, right?
Yeah, I like it. I think it's also it's not as greedy as Lina as well, so it's like a middle ground.
You may now
go for Lina.
Do you like that one, Misery?
Yeah, it's kind of like OG picks a hero that can take a lot of farm and also scale into late game. You know, get a lot of physical damage out of this Lina later on, and yeah, I think it's also a good matchup for Lina mid, I believe, against Lesh. Pretty even.
Yeah,
but Lina is pretty happy there, nonetheless, and.
Yeah, and you have a frontliner that can actually go in with the health talent with the BKB. Then Mars can set up proper spears. Your Klings also is very tanky to help with that. I like the lineup a lot actually. I feel like OG's lineup is very scary to play into. They have so much damage coming out from all of the heroes.
I'm interested to see how the Klings Lion lane pairs up against the Sanking SD lane. I would prefer the disrupt of 4 here, just to go down there and just press Q on clinks nonstop and actually apply some pressure. I think the SD in that lane might grieve the sanking a bit, but we'll see.
Yeah. The
If you both like,
sorry,
if you both like the OG draft so much, what do you think Na'Vi need to do to beat it? Who needs to pop off a Na'Vi win here?
It's got to be the Leshrac. Whenever I see a Leshrac, I think Leshrac is here to pop off, and he has the capability to, right? Like you get maybe like a solo kill with your max level stun, you rotate around your Pulse Nova, get a couple of kills, start pressuring the towers, and I think for me it has to be the Leshrac.
Mm-hmm. Do you agree, Misery?
Yeah, Leshrac's definitely important. I also think that it's important how the bottom lane goes, like the sanking SD against Klink's Lion, because Klink's kind of needs a good early game, I think, to be effective.
Okay, well, can the Disco Pony dance Na'Vi into a Game 1 victory here? We're going to hand over for our casters to kick off the day. It's Nomad and Lizzard.
Thank you very much, Dan and the gang. Yes, indeed, we've got OG versus Na'Vi in the first best of 3 series here at the OGA Dota pit, and I'm here with Lizzard to talk you through this game. Lizzard, what are your thoughts on the draft before we get into this one?
I like both of these drafts. Right now, when it comes to the teams, however, OG looks in a much better form. If you watched some of the Eastern Europe DPC, it wasn't that great for Na'Vi. They lost to PuckChamp convincingly. They didn't look like they had really a lead on what they're supposed to be doing in the game, even though they're led by a very experienced leader such as Solo.
And we have Na'Vi. They did go for a little smoke here onto the OG side of the map. Didn't really find anything. They got a ward down, came back empty-handed. Is what it is, but... Yeah, I remember some drama about, wasn't it Solo and Artstyle who came under fire by Light of Heaven during TI, and there was that whole thing about him getting the plane journey home or something like that?
Yeah, there were some intricacies there in the Eastern Europe that we don't really have to go in details about, but what's interesting is that Solo, I guess, is the only player that goes in Division 2, drops out of it, and then comes back in Division 1, you know, like for a team. It doesn't matter. The team just respect his prowess, his captaining prowess way too hard, way too much. What's peculiar for me when it comes to the OG's draft, even though I like it, I like this Lina's matchup mid as well. I like it as a last pick versus Lash. When you look at their draft, there's a huge burden on Mars. Like, he needs to be the one up front, he needs to be the one protecting these 3, even 4 extremely squishy heroes that always like to be playing on the sidelines. Solo, bottom lane.
Yeah, that's a bit of damage coming out onto him. Can he TP himself away? Oh, it's close, but he does get himself out. And Misha will now return to the top lane.
Yeah, he gets himself out, but he also TP'd base, right? So he needs to run back bottom. He instantly buys a smoke just to be a little bit faster, as he understands it's a huge mess not to be on the lane this early on.
Yeah, luckily V-Tune not struggling so much just yet, but I'm sure Tiger's going to get to bullying very, very shortly. I mean, that is what the Weaver provides to the lane, doesn't it? Just an intense amount of harass with the Sakuchi and then with the bugs.
I would usually agree with you. That's something the panel was talking about as well. This Weaver is pretty legit, but Disruptor plus Luna, these are not the heroes you want to be playing Weaver in. They just need one sentry in the lane that doesn't get rewarded, and Weaver literally cannot approach them. He cannot harass. It's one Lucent Beam into Thunderstrike, and he loses like 50% of his HP instantly. It's not a fun lane.
Not fun. Gonna have to be chugging those salves like they're going out of stock, because Tiger already having drunk 1, and also getting quite low. I believe this is his second, actually, as he did get quite low when they chased him through the jungle earlier.
There's an item meta with the Weaver. When you're playing versus these 2 heroes, or even when you're just playing versus Disruptor, there's an item meta that you go for. You don't buy this, what Taiga did. I mean, I don't think that what Taiga did is wrong. I'm just saying that I've seen a lot of players in Chinese region. What they do is, they don't go for Sage's Mask, they don't rush the urn. Instead, you just buy like 5 Iron Branches and max out Tangos. And you trade. Because it buffs you up, it beefs you up hard enough so that you can actually trade right clicks with them.
Alright, well, let's move over towards this middle lane now and have a look at No One versus BZM. It really is an interesting story here at mid. We've got the veteran No One, been around for such a long time, versus a relative newcomer of BZM here, and so far so good for the Luna, but of course it is a Luna. We expect them to do well in these first few levels.
Yeah, he's doing extremely well though. That's 16 last hits versus 9. And no one is the one being zoned out. He's going to need some sort of a rotation here to at least secure the minute 4 runes.
Yeah, stacking the small camp for himself as the Ancients are also being stacked at the same time. Good stuff, good stuff.
Top lane, there's a disruption, but okay, there's a stun as well. But that's it, just a little bit of a harass, you push out. Also what's interesting is that Aloha Dance didn't actually manage to deward the hard camp. It's something that you must do playing with the Sand King, and now they do manage to deward it. The problem is, like, you're playing the Sand King, you're going to be pushing in the lane 24/7, right? So you need a hard camp. It's more important than anything else as a sport.
You need to get off those pulls, and Misha is ready with a sentry ward ready to go. And yep, there we go. Aloha Dance just like, for God's sake, man, like, just let me pull the lane. And now they're even stunning him up as well, and the Hex coming out. But of course, with General nearby, no real chance of an aggressive maneuver here. Bottom lane, V-Tune. Yeah, in some trouble. That bug is on him. Can they finish the job? I don't think so. They'll clear off the bug. And don't have a salve. Oh, look at Solo's inventory. That is so sad. My man is clutching his singular iron branch. Yeah, Tiger he just runs in and finds it. I mean, that's what happens when you don't have the regen. The Weaver just comes in. Good read from him, to be honest.
I'm not sure why they're like the way they're laning bottom on the side of Navi feels a little bit off in a way that they're wasting a lot of their resources to deal with ATF with Amar. They're trying to bring him lower when you can't. He has a wand already. He had tangos, bracers, salve. Like, you tickle him literally with these thunder strikes. Yeah, it's level 2, but he goes to the tower. He regions up extremely fast, and then Weaver is the one that's free to roam and do whatever he wants to. It's yeah, going really well for OG so far, and they're exploiting that really well. Mid lane as well, refilling the bottle. Or actually, was there even a bottle? Yeah, there was.
Yeah, there was.
It.
Weaver going to be supplying their mid lane. You know, it always sucks when you're already losing the lane and then the bottle gets refilled as well. It's tough.
Yeah, I feel it's a must even, right?
Yeah.
At the moment, the way the lane is played, especially in these matchups in which one hero can really dominate. Like, you didn't have to help out Lina that much, but it just makes the lane impossible for poor no one.
Yep, and worryingly, he has got the most last hits out of everyone on his team right now. That is just an indicator of how these lanes are going currently. 44 CS on BZM at nearly minute 6. That is insane.
That's a peculiar play there, as he's pressuring the lane while Weaver is going back to stack and pull the hard camp, right? So usually you expect him to at least be perhaps pulling back a little bit. They caught him. 2 bounty runes for no one, though. All right.
That'll help. Stealing them from the enemy team. Yeah, disruptions out, stuns follow up as well. They're making the play onto BZM, but Misha's come in to try and help them out here. Can they turn this around? BZM just gonna drop Laguna down onto Aloha Dance. Aloha Dance is dead, no one. He's hungry for it. Can he finish the kill? I think he can. So
maybe a double.
Do get it in the end, and hello. Misha's here as well. Yeah, no one. Gotta grab himself 2 kills in the middle lane. That is exactly what you want to happen to get this Leshrac back on track.
2 kills, 2 bounty runes. He gets that haste rune, uses it perfectly well. The nice rotation from Shadow Demon as well. He wasn't really spotted by any wards, and now because he died, he can refill the bottle mid lane, which makes no one's life much easier. The quality of life just became, you know, much better for no one on this mid lane.
Yep, and he's got all these stacks. I mean, obviously, he won't be able to take the Ancients here, only the small camps which he made for himself. But yeah, the Luna's got that to fall back on later. Meanwhile, bottom, a little bit of action. Bugs coming out. Solo gonna get pinned to the tree. Can they finish him off is a question. The answer seems to be yes. No way to remove that bug. And then it's just gonna be a dead support in the bottom lane.
This lane just becomes... I feel like if you're dominating Taiga and if he's unable to do whatever he wants to on this bottom lane, eventually it slips out of control and you can't contest them that hard until there's Lina rotating in mid lane.
Yep, they're moving in. Trying to find the targets here, and there's going to be a low hard dance. Is he going to survive this? Not on a low hard chance as he gets brought down by Tiger.
Taiga with the level 3 Sukuchi. Interesting, sometimes you see the sword maxed out, you see, but Sukuchi is just such a necessity. I've seen so many different builds from different players right now on Weaver. Sometimes you don't see Geminate attack at all, sometimes you see Sukuchi level 2, the Swarm level 2. I feel like getting Sukuchi maxed out as soon as possible, it's a must. It just makes the game so much easier. You're able to go in and out without dying.
Yeah, it feels very free, doesn't it? In most games.
They're eyeing no one mid lane, but this is... yeah, that's a difficult kill. Maybe a glimpse now?
Well, Disruption's out. No one's got to follow up with the stun, and that is just straight up dead Misha. Tiger coming in on the side, they're looking at him as well, but won't be able to get the catch here on side. Although saying that, V-Tune's actually wrapped around. Very nice movements here from the carry player to get involved in this, but unfortunately they just don't quite have enough in the tank to finish off this pesky little bug. The swatter is not big enough.
You saw that situation literally because he has 2 seconds less on the cooldown. He gets out and is able to, well, not really do much with his life. He can go back now, but Amar is actually the one that's being rotated on.
Yep, Amar the Fleer as he goes to the TP out, and I don't think they'll be able to find him here. Great read from the Mars as he gets himself to safety. I like the way both teams scout on that location as well.
And it's really nice that he TP to the tier 1 because there's rotation now.
Oh, this could be really good. Let's see. BZM does get popped here, and they have that observer ward down, so they know the heroes who are in the area. The vision advantage favoring Navi a little bit, but BZM still landing the stun here. Just drops that Laguna to try and get the kill. Misha with the stun as well, and that is going to be a dead solo.
So long. Yeah, they're going to get this tier 1 with the rotation. One thing that I noticed about OG in this pursuit, at least, is one thing that I kind of dislike about their draft is the fact that you don't really have any reliable initiating tools before the Blink Dagger comes out, right, on Lion or the Mars. So it's not that simple for them. Never mind, no one. It is simple.
Mid lane, yeah. Oh,
is it?
Yeah, it is. Tiger
he has no
well.
mana. Yeah, Weaver dies. He had no mana for time lapse, so they do get one small counter kill, which is nice. Is this? Yeah, I'm just thinking, is this really that bad for Navi? Like, they did lose tier 1 on the bottom lane. They lost Lash. At the same time, they took tier 1 mid and tier 1 top, which enables them to just protect the Ancients much easier for this Luna in the long run. She will be able to farm up those stacks.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, because even when you trade like a tier 1 bottom tower for a tier 1 mid, you know, some games, it depends on the matchups, really, which determines whether that's who favors in that trade. But they've actually taken 2 towers here on Navi, so they should be pretty happy about this.
It's because Solo remained bottom lane, and he was the only one that died defending the tier 1, right? And Luna already TP'd out. V-Tune, he had a very nice read on when he was supposed to bail the bottom lane. ATF, he tried to catch him with a spear back in the day, like 3 minutes ago when they were taking tier 1, but he wasn't able to, and now they're taking the stacks. So far, I like the way Navi is playing when it comes to the general strategy of a Luna playstyle, right? Like, they're protecting her in the triangle, Sand King is getting his Blink Dagger. Meanwhile, there's a lot to wait from OG, I feel like. You need the Blink on Mars, you also need the Blink on Lion, right? So, well, perhaps not on the Lion, because he's literally the poor 5, so maybe just the Mars is necessary.
Maybe, yeah, but definitely Mars is the one we're looking at, and it's going to be about 500 gold, a little bit more, before he gets that Blink Dagger online, and that's going to kind of really open up the playmaking potential from the side of OG.
Also, when you think about this matchup with Luna and Lina, so many times do I see Alina just be the dominant sister, the dominant one. You know, later on in the game you get that. He's actually going Travels BKB, no Shadow Blade, nothing like that, straight into BKB. And Aloha Dance?
Well, they're moving in, but that is some powerful protection there from Misha as he just drops down the figure and says, "Get off my mid laner."
Okay, so that was a smoke from OG. It's a nice skill. It's a position for Shadow Demon. At the same time, General, now he's 100% aware that they could be rotating on him, and because of that he'll be playing more safely, securely. Same goes for Vitune, who finished all the stacks. It's one of those stats, you know, you'd rather have a Disruptor die there, but as long as they didn't get a core kill, if you're Navi, you're kind of fine with it, I would say. That's a blink on General. This should be a smoke now. Yeah, instantly they smoke.
Sanking on the prowl, looking for this blink reveal.
Taiga is in a good position though.
Yeah, pops the smoke, but they jump forward, they find Amar, and now they drop down that ulti on top of him. 2 ultis thrown onto the Mars. They want to bring down the big boy, and they will be able to do that with ease. Down goes the Mars. 2 ultis committed, but totally worthwhile as they finish off.
Did they find Amar's?
Ah, I see what you did there, Lizzard. Very smart. It might be early, but you're on the board.
I've been hanging around Lacoste way too much. Anyways, yeah, that's a nice pickoff for Navi. They get the Mars. Did they delay his blink dagger? Let's see. He actually has it, so it's not really the worst time to die as a Mars. And now he will be able to respawn and instantly smoke and strike back. That's what we should expect from OG and their playstyle in the next 30 seconds. He's TPing on tier 2. But this should be an easy read for Navi though, if they even do it. Let's see, OG. Never mind. They do smoke. Okay.
They do.
Yeah.
They're going with the 2-man, but it's just a line with finger on cooldown, so not that threatening. With Tiger joining them, that should be enough of a kill threat here.
And look how much it matters to have this tier 1 on the mid lane now. It's much harder for Amar and Lion to rotate in the triangle to where they really want to be because of the tier 1 mid. Instead, they might find General though.
Ooh, he's got backup though. The 2 supports staying behind, and now General gonna get jumped upon. Aloha Dance gets the disruption off from the high ground, which is gonna save him for a little bit here. General Bow Strike up onto the cliff, but they've got the bug, so they know where he is. But do they have the stun? They don't have the damage. General escapes Navi with the smooth plays there.
Yeah, really well positioned Aloha Dance. That was also without Aetherlance, by the way. So very well read. And this was my previous point, right? Like, if you know that Mars like 90% top lane, ZM should be that as well.
All right. Oh, missing the stun on the left doesn't matter though. There's way too many heroes here. They're gonna take down BCM. That's a dead Lina. NAVI continuing to get the favorable trades here in the early mid.
Oh, they're rotating in. I just feel like it's the same it's the same thought process that I had during the draft, right? Like the Navi's draft feels easier to play because they have multiple heroes that can stand up front, the initiating tools and whatnot. On the side of OG, there's a lot to wait for. Once they get that, mid, Amar.
Ultimate's coming on down here, doing a lot of damage. They'll pick off solo straight off the back. OG starting with the kill. Amar is low, but not low enough. Vitune coming across. Still doesn't have this Eclipse, though, so might not be that high impact. The Lucent Beams coming down, triggering off the raindrops of the stun to follow up from no one. They'll get the kill. However, they look over towards Misha. It's going to be a second one for OG. And again, I mean, one of the big things here to me is that Yuragi's not really getting involved in these fights as the Clinks. What are your opinions on that?
I feel like, yeah, you could perhaps stand on the sidelines and use Burning Barrage, but keep in mind that you're playing versus a Sand King. Like, you're playing versus Glimpse. It's not easy to be involved as the Clinks in these fights. And same goes for Lina. I feel like they picked these... you have Weaver, you have Clinks, you have Lina. 3 heroes that literally want to play every teamfight the same way. Stand on the sidelines. Maybe Weaver likes to be in a bit, but these 2 cores, they want to be standing on the sidelines until they get that BKB when they're able to fight. Especially when you're playing versus a Disruptor. That's what's making OG's life pretty difficult at the moment. And it goes back to Mars, who pretty much ties up the draft perfectly, but there's a lot for him to do. There's way too much, I would say.
Looking at all these items here, nothing really surprising to be honest. It's all pretty much on the mark as what we've expected and what we've talked about so far, but it's NAVI going into the pit here. Great read from
BB.
them again.
Yeah, double damage as well for them, right? And that should be a completed BKB on Luna. So you will... I'm wondering if he could have greeded out here and because of the Aegis, right? And cap the Dragonlance a bit longer. That doesn't matter. They'll get the Aegis, most likely to V-Tune. Maybe to Lash, we'll see. Probably to V-Tune, right? Yeah, V-Tune's gonna take it. And it's uncontested. Why is it uncontested? Because the tier 1 is still standing. You can't even run there from the enemy jungle. Oh, Lina.
Wow, that's a dead Lina if ever I've seen one inside the kinetic static storm. There is no escape from that. Amar limping away as well from the Luna, trying to chase him down under cover of BKB. Stun comes out, but General and Solo both backing him up. I don't think Amar is getting out of this one, as Navi are going to claim themselves a second kill. 2 big calls brought down from Navi, and the Aegis in their hands. These guys are looking pretty damn sharp right now.
Taiga? Oh, he time-lapsed us back. Yeah, interesting that they're continuing this. You see, they're wasting some time here on Navi. I expected them to instantly run top because that's what no one was drawing as well. Just go for the tier 2. Forget about this nonsense. We're not getting any more kills. They're way too elusive. Let's just go top, take the objective while they're dead. And they are moving slowly now towards that tier 2. But you see the point, right? Lina without the BKB, it's the same. That's why Uragi wasn't joining the fights, because he would have the same fate.
Yeah.
You just get caught by Disruptor. It's too easy for Navi at the moment.
Too much catch. You know, for some reason, I feel like the, you know, people's thoughts coming into this series was a little bit OG favored. You know, they're the new team. They've got all this, you know, hype behind them and such. But
no, I share the same sentiment. Like,
yep.
I literally casted Navi in the DPC season, and they had a very similar, well-rounded draft, but they really didn't execute it well. And it looks like they've improved a bit, at least in this game. They're looking much better. General breaking the smoke. And blinks out.
Spear gonna miss. A rare miss from Amar there. And now this opens up Navi. Perhaps although they've actually found the Disruptor on the front lines. A save comes out from the Shadow Demon. The disruption onto the Disruptor. But it's not enough to save him. Solo's got to go down, and they found the second support here. OG finding the ideal targets to start off this engagement, and this will force back Navi. There is no way they're going to try and take a fight without their supports, I don't think.
This was much better. Taiga?
Oh. General, he's thinking about it. But no, won't be going in. Won't be protecting this ward spot for now, as the spear comes out. Onto General. He's just going to jump across the other side of the pit. It's a very tense fight here. It's OG, they're still hesitant. They don't want to overcommit. And also the Disruptor, you know, now coming back to life. Shadow Demon going to be back soon as well. OG just decided to call it, and they will just settle for that small win.
Yeah, just remember what enables that. It's the 2 BKBs that are online for OG. And now, even though Navi they did have the Aegis and the BKB, they still sack 2 of their supports and go back. And that's literally because of these huge item timings that OG have finally reached them, right? And from this point onwards, the game might play out completely differently, depending on who initiates first. Taiga, mid lane. He's breaking the smoke.
Dude, it is so hard to watch this game and not be like, oh, they're gonna jump Taiga, because Taiga's constantly just playing on a knife's edge, being close enough where they could jump him, and here they go, they find themselves a target. They're just gonna bring down this Lion. Taiga taking a lot of damage as well, as you kind of just face tank the epicenter here. Uragi gonna get yulzed up, but Amar's in with the arena, just trying to catch out the disruption to start out this fight. However, the stun out onto 2, pretty nice from General. Amar's getting low, but not before he brings out a low hard dance. Amar will still fall as Uragi tries to pump out some damage here, but he's kind of separated. He's a little bit alone, and when that BKB runs out, he knows he will be vulnerable, so he's going to get himself away just in time as V-Tune arrives. And a pretty underwhelming fight from OG there.
He was literally on the ward the whole time, in general. And I believe they understand that now because of the movements of OG. Sometimes you just see the way they move and you instantly realize that you're on the ward. They were kind of converging on his spot. Taiga, no ulti on him. Dead.
Yep. Probably dead here. Stun's gonna come out, and yeah, they've got the damage. Goodbye, little bug. As we said, playing on a knife's edge. Every now and again, he's gonna slip off the side.
Yeah, they all are right. Even Mars, he was farming in the enemy jungle so many times. Solo?
Very far forward here, but General is going to follow up with the stun, but the finger is there to bring him down.
BKB.
But if this results in a Kling's kill, this could be huge. Invis is out. and they don't have the detection, so Uragi's just going to run away.
They had the dust.
Oh, they had
Yeah,
the dust still on him. Oh, okay.
It didn't matter because he's way too speedy. They needed that glimpse. It's like, I like what Solo is doing. I like how he's going first and whatnot, giving info. But he's not an Undying or an Ogre that usually does that, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's how he usually plays these heroes, with the Disruptor. By the way, it's probably his most played hero. And the best, the most successful hero I think he's played on. But still, they need him to follow up with the glimpse, and maybe General goes in first.
Yeah, CIS region does love their Disruptor, that's for sure.
It's a very interesting game. Strategically watching this game is a pleasure, because for my room temperature IQ, it's not very difficult to follow. They're not doing anything too special. They're just answering they're answering each other's moves and catching each other's smokes really well. So far in this game, how many smokes really connected and caught the team off guard? Like maybe one on bottom when they killed the Mars, and that's it. Everything else was pretty well read by one side or the other. Point is, it's a bit predictable, but still enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, well, I mean, you say predictable, but I have no idea who's going to take this one. Like, yeah, Navi has the catch, but both teams have similar amount of team fights, late game. You know, I'm not sure this Luna's going to be the mega boss we think she is.
How do you not know it? What the hell? It's so obvious.
I haven't been sent the script yet, Lizzard. They're slacking.
It's so scripted, don't you know? Dota pit tournaments, like Misha runs away.
Yep. No one in general just chilling inside the arena together. Burst Strike 4 doesn't catch. And, oh, Misha, okay, yeah, that's a freebie.
Yeah, they get a nice kill even though General missed. It doesn't matter. As long as you give info, there's a glimpse follow-up. And what I'm saying, like what I'm joking about, the OG tournaments, the last one that I actually casted as well was the one Team Spirit played versus PSG LGD in the grand finals. And it was literally like a week or 10 days before TI. So like it literally predicted who's going to be in the finals of TI.
True. Yeah, Team Spirit were doing very, very well in those small tournaments before TI. The signs were there, but still,
the signs were definitely
what they were
there.
going to achieve.
I was still an unbeliever, like because PSG LGD played versus them with like a Spirit Breaker mid and still won, took it pretty easily. But they improved. So it's really nice to see teams play in these tournaments that aren't necessarily DPC, because you get to learn a lot, you get to experiment, like Black was saying at Misery. You get to take it a little bit easier, but that also means that you get to experiment and find your true form.
Here we go. OG going for the smoke, the 4-man smoke. Tiger, of course, will be able to get there with ease unless he gets caught out in the middle lane here, getting a little bit close to comfort, but looks like it'll be okay.
He's got Ags. Like, Taiga has full Ags completed. He just needs to go base, get it, and rejoin with his teammates.
Yeah, he'll get there eventually. Meanwhile, the team, I mean, they don't really find much here, but they're going to move into the enemy triangle and see what
Did you see VTune? Did you see that TP?
No.
He literally TP'd from tier 2 on the left, right, on the top lane, to mid tier 1. He didn't want to run through the triangle because he understands. He knows exactly where they are. They're just reading each other really well.
Yeah, both teams seem to always know exactly where they are. It's like both teams are playing with all vision as they jump forward again. Miss Burrow Strike Arena comes down. The spear will connect on to the Shadow Demon. He has gone solo as well inside the perfect arena from Amar here, catching out both the supports. No one needs to run away with the cover of BKB, but once that has ended, he's going to be in trouble. V-Tune just going to unleash with the ultimate of the BZM, has a BKB to keep himself safe. Uragi in trouble. Uragi is dead. The Clinks has gone. Could this be Navi's fight? As BZM catches out Luna, but just not doing enough damage at this point. Tiger trying to run around the edge, but he's so low to the Sandstorm, has to back himself away. No one just about going to survive this one as well. As we move back over to the main of the fight, Tiger is gone. General's going to fall as well in response, though. And that means that, I mean, OG narrowly winning the fight, I suppose?
Oh, it's not narrowly. Like, they won it by a huge margin, I would say. This is a huge team fight for them that turns the game slightly in their favor now. The two supports on the side of Navi just
Radiant's middle
got
tower
caught
is under
out too
attack.
easily. They're the first one to
Radiant
fall in this
structures
teamfight,
are
and
fortified.
when a Shadow Demon dies like that immediately, he really can't release all of his toolkit, right? He can't be saving targets, he can't disrupt targets multiple times. Misha?
That's a Leshrac right on this lion's face. Misha just trying to run away from him. No one will be able to chase him down. Oh my goodness.
I think he's fine. Yeah, he has a blink now. Should be good.
Meanwhile, Amar's going to find Solo here, and hello, Dance coming in from the side, helping out, but it's only delaying the inevitable, and with BKB TP away, Amar will be...
Oh, he's...
no,
he
never
cancels
mind,
it.
he's staying around, he wants another kill, he wants to kill a second support. Has he got the help coming in? Yes, Tiger is nearby, has the Aghanim's ultimate, going to use it on Amar to keep him alive? No one. He thought this was just a free kill onto the Mars, but it's anything but. Great stun through from General. V-Tune tearing BZM apart of the backline. BKB doesn't matter, they'll kill him regardless. Lohar Dance still being chased by Tiger, but on the main side of the fight, Yuragi fighting up with V-Tune here. V-Tune, who's going to take this one as Amar comes around the backlines to kill off the Lohar Dance. Misha, well, will fall to no one as well as General searching.
They see him,
for
they don't see Yuragi. Look.
No way.
There's no way he jukes that.
No way. Oh my god.
They had no detection as well. It should be Rosh again though. Weaver is around. He could maybe perhaps use the Swarm to scout it, but gonna be hunting couriers instead.
Radiant's courier has been
They
killed.
catch him. He's just pulling them apart.
I know, Tiger's having such a game here. A Weaver masterclass, I would say.
Radiant's courier has been
Yeah, it's
killed.
one of those. If you remember Secrets 2020 run with Puppy playing Weaver all the time, position 5 with Tranquils and just killing couriers
Radiant's top
constantly.
tower is under
It,
attack.
it,
Radiant are
it really
scanning.
feels like that. He's on point.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
Unfortunately, Roshan will still fall. Tiger constantly just trying to be annoying, find these couriers, but General's on top of him with the Yules now. And looks like they will be able to get this Weaver killed off at last.
And almost he gets
My
the courier.
God.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
You can tell these guys are frustrated. Like, it's not every day they drop a Static Storm and an Epicenter to kill off a Weaver, but, you know, they want Tiger gone.
Yeah, because it's not really simple to kill him anymore. If you think about it, he has a point booster, vitality booster, Ogre Axe. Like, there's a lot of buffs coming from those components of his items. He's a tanky boy, tanky little bug.
Yeah, add to that Sakuchi and Timelapse, and this guy is just a real pain in Navi's ass, so they will waste absolutely no time in dropping those ultimates to kill him off. So, Aegis once again back in the hands of Navi. OG, what is their response? I mean, last time they had the Aegis, they just kind of kept skirmishing. They kept fighting. They didn't let Navi get together and just kind of play their own game. OG seemed to always want to take the match on their terms. BZM is pushing out his bottom wave, and there's a lot of Navi heroes in the area.
The glimpse forces out the BKB and an arena. All right, that was good. That was solid. That was, and the tips, of course. So Amar has really been on point, just eliminating these supports out of the game, right?
Yes.
This time around, sadly for him, it didn't work. And he was forced to BKB to prevent the glimpse, but then he doesn't cast the Disruptor anyway.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Well, Navi, with this arena down, will just continue shoving out this bottom wave, getting the free tier 1 tower, possibly moving on to the tier 2. OG, what can they do about it?
They're smoking up, they want to take this triangle, but it's already taken.
BZM immediately going to start one quick BKB as well with disruption, saves Leshrac for the time being and allow him to get off that BKB of his own, but BZM's just trying to fight up into him, but with the Yules, and now the BKB running out on BZM, he's vulnerable, and they're going to get on top of him with ease, but they will trade the Leshrac for him. Meanwhile, V-Tune just kind of running around the fight, doing whatever the hell he wants, and the next target's going to be Misha. Misha does full, jumped in to finish off Solo there, but trades his life for it. But OG, they might not be done here. They're still hanging around. Yuragi wants to find Aloha Dance. Does see him here on the cliff. Spear's going to follow up as well. Misha with the buyback as they want to pour everything into this fight. And they will bring down Aloha Dance. And now they're pinging out V-Tune. This is the Aegis carrier. This Luna is very, very scary. but they want to try for this one regardless. Now Loha Dance going to buy back into this one. This is a big commitment from both teams here as General taking so much damage from the barrage from Yuragi. Meanwhile, the Hex is now out onto the Luna. They want to kill off General first, splitting 2 targets here. V2 low, General lower. Can they finish the job? The Aeon Disc suddenly comes together for General. I don't know where that one came from. Can they actually keep him alive? Luna dead on the backlines with the Aegis. She's going to come back to life. Is there anyone to help out V2 here? I'm not sure there is. V2 all alone, the team just unable to come in and help out this Luna. She is gone.
That's an Aegis Luna. That Aeon Disc was a nice play from General. He actually kept it uncombined for the majority of the fight and then just put it in his inventory as he was about to die. It literally helps him survive that little play. But Navi, they were on point so far in the game, but this fight around the triangle... Okay, first and foremost, Leshrac dies with literally the last hit from Klinks before he starts running. So that's slightly unfortunate for him. He could have lived there if he was just, you know, a little tick tankier. Lane?
Yeah, they found General once again. General, look at the damage pumping out from this Lena. The moment she picks up the silver, she's just tearing heroes apart. And General will fall as the Klinks gets the catch, and they'll find a +1 as well. Solo falls as well. What is this cascade of violence?
You're tearing me apart, Lena.
Radiant's middle tower.
She is tearing everyone apart. This hero is crazy.
You didn't get it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, like Navi is falling apart a little bit. Lena is definitely tearing them apart. Around the triangle as well, they remained there for a little bit too long. There was no reason to stick around and wait for OG to buy back and strike back. And now they're trying to defend the tower that isn't really theirs to defend because they don't have heroes. Like, they're still not all up and alive. They're losing a full set of Raxes because of that, and perhaps nothing more. There's a tier 2 on the bottom lane and a tier 1 on top.
Wow, explosive game from OG. They fight into the Aegis and it pays off massively with just kill after kill after kill. I mean, it was really good from OG, but a little bit sloppy from Navi, perhaps?
100%. I feel like I'm more of a Debbie Downer. Like, I'm the guy that calls out some sloppy moves instead of the great moves. I think that it was really good from OG what they did, buying back on Misha, catching the Shadow Demon in the trees down bottom, and then following up to kill the Luna twice. It was really nice. But the reaction from Navi, like after the Shadow Demon dies and they start chasing Luna, I think you need to buy back instantly. Like the moment they start chasing the Luna, you have to buy back. If you don't, like it's going to be too late, and that's exactly what happened on in the Radiant jungle. Now this game isn't in their control anymore. With a solid smoke, with a solid initiation, they can still turn it, but it became way harder.
Do you think now with this butterfly from the Luna, this is going to help her out in the team fights a little bit more, since it has been the Lena who's been giving her the most trouble?
It is helpful, but if you click on the Klinks, he's already building towards that MKB. He has a Maelstrom as well. He has that Burning Barrage. It's all these small little things that add up and help against the butterfly. On the Lena, yeah, there isn't a lot, but you have Enchanted Quiver, right? And some of these things definitely do help. Meanwhile, Mars has a Nullifier as well. Like, Mar is a big boy.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, Mar, he always gets that farm, doesn't he? He's always scooping it up. Very rich.
He's queuing up. He's queuing up the MKB as well, so he wants to be dishing out some right click too. I'm not sure that they necessarily need him to. I'm pretty sure that they are completely fine with the other 2 cores if they do get there. Maybe some more utility from him would be nicer, but you know, if the boy wants to hit people, let him hit people. What can you do?
My boy wants to hit.
Yeah.
Living up to his name. Navi smoking up now once again. They're just providing safety for no one. They thought this mid lane might be baited, so they smoke up behind no one and just see what happens. But
yeah, I'm not seeing a big item that comes for them. You know, I'm not seeing this big thing that changes the way the game is played completely.
Invisibility.
And now it's OG's turn to smoke themselves up. They'll be moving into Navi here. Look at that pink line as well, drawn from Misha. It is just down the middle lane. That is the plan for them.
Are scanning.
Let's see what they can find. Amar is going to lead the charge the moment the smoke breaks. He's going to be blinking, and here they find a good target. This is going to be a dead Shadow Demon, so that save has got to the A on disc. No,
Almost.
not enough. Not enough. Nullify comes out.
Nice
Now
stun.
Oh, great Burrow Strike. Great follow-up from Navi here as well. They're going to take down 2 straight off the bat. Yuragi getting solo as well. He can't fight into this. Bring it solo, but wow. Great jump in from General there, catching out 2 of them and turning the fight in Navi's favor.
Yeah, that was yikes from OG. They converged on 1 inch against the Sand King, who just loves that. Jumps in. They also had a ward on the high ground, so it was a perfect place for Navi to strike back. I actually expected OG to take that fight easily. Pop those BKBs because they had vision too. But they messed up a little bit. Have to be careful. You might be 7k ahead, but it doesn't matter if you get multiple impaled. Burrow Strike, that's it.
Yeah, if General is there, then you do have to be scared. BZM, we're just going to come in and sneakily grab away that Arcane Rune. A little risky there, but that's fine.
He knows... well, he didn't have too much info, but he knows that the gem is on their side. It's the one that Sand King dropped, so at least that will not be possible. That way of scouting him out will not be possible. Plus, he's Alina. This hero is so fast, dude. Like, 550 movement speed, like, with 3 fiery souls is...
It's a bit
It's
silly.
quite a bit.
Yeah. 45 seconds until Roshan is up. Navi are fully warding the area. They're just hanging around, waiting for the big boy to show his ugly face. But OG will be 5-man strong again when the Roche respawns, so I don't think they'll be giving it away for free this time around. They want to fight this.
How Aloha TPs and instantly blinks out. They get the telescope, which is pretty nice on their side. I guess you give it to Disruptor or Shadow Demon to carry. Did they? So far, no one is taking a Shadow Demon goal. Okay.
There we go. Yeah, that range is going to be very, very useful, especially when we consider how all of these fights which OG have won have been going. It has been Amar jumping into the backlines, finding the 2 supports, and just blowing them up. Oh, here we go. Casual little stun onto Misha. Now a bit of flirting, and now the full fight breaks out. Amar going to drop down the arena, immediately jump in onto those supports. Misha is dead, but so is Solo. And look at the damage this Leshrak is taking. He cannot sustain himself inside this fight. But V-Tune, he's turning up. He's taken down 1, but Yuragi versus V-Tune. Who's going to take this one? The BKB is still available from Yuragi. He pops it and just blows up the poor old Sand King. V-Tune trying to TP away. Is that going to be successful? It is, thanks to disruption from the Shadow Demon. But still, I mean, that is not the fight which Navi wanted. 3 heroes dead. OG, they're going to be more than happy with that one. They did have to buy back on Misha, but a small price to pay for what's probably going to be Roshan. Double buyback in sync from Navi. They are not letting this go without a fight.
No, they're not going to let this Roche fall that easily. I think that's the right call. And OG cannot fight without the Mars. So if they do want to contest this Roshan, I think you need to buy back on the Mars or try and delay the fight. Let's see. Like Navi, they might be worried. They might not just run into the pit. And by doing this, by staying here, they're making sure that OG is not doing it as well, but they're not really utilizing these 2 buybacks to their full potential. They're not forcing out the Mars buyback. It's definitely the safer play though, and it's not wrong by any means.
Yeah, these fights have been so interesting. I mean, OG almost every single time are just sacrificing their Mars in order to kill off both the supports on Navi, and that seems to be working for them. Hold on,
But
Navi.
you see, they went in now though.
Yep, they know this Mars isn't alive, but I don't know, will they get this in time? Navi are forcing this. They're forcing this really hard. OG, they need to do something. They're not going to get in time. The Aegis is just going to go to Navi, and now they want to take the fight off the back of this. Navi fighting. General going in with the stun, but getting used up. Solo up stun from Misha straight off the bat. He's gone. They seem to have left something in the pit there. Is that the refresher shard?
Yeah, it's the shard. They didn't pick up.
Glimpse back, trying to save off no one here, but no one, I don't think anyone is going to be able to save him here as he's going to get blown up as well. That's the Aegis. Just as quickly as they pick it up, it goes away, and OG are ready to get him on his second life as well, and that is just not what they wanted to happen.
Solo is dead as
Oh
well.
no, and now Solo as well. He's got in the trees. What just happened, Lizzard?
Luna, detune?
No way. No way.
gone.
No way. The Hex
Okay.
is there. Disruption saved. Is it going to be enough is the question, and the answer is
got
I
cheese.
don't think so. Although saying that, turn around with the cheese, with the ultimate, but the save from Tiger coming in just in time with the Aghanim's, and now the arena comes out from the Mars. They can't get the Luna away. They can't get the Shadow Demon away.
That's game.
That's going to be it. GG is called from NAVI. My goodness, the pace. The power of OG to take this game in just a matter of seconds. It goes from NAVI picking up the Aegis to OG just taking everything.
I think this last fight is just showing us the team that's more decisive. It literally just comes down to that. Like I was saying, I don't think that it's a mistake that they bought back and are just sticking around Rosh, right? It's not a mistake. But what is a mistake is that you're not decisive enough to go straight into that pit and take Roshan while Mars is on a 40-second that timer, right? And if he bites back, then you try to get out. They didn't even force a buyback, and they went into the pit when he was like 5-6 seconds away, which means that they will be chased after 100%. And in that chase, they won't have this target in a Mars who used buyback, and if they kill him off, maybe they have an advantage as he doesn't have a buyback after, right? So decisiveness there from OG was definitely what took the game. It was anyone's game up to the last 30 seconds, literally.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, what an ending to that one as well. It was just like everything in the air. I did feel like when it came down to the team fights, it was kind of favored towards OG. They just seemed to kind of have it more together, you know, going in just seemed to be like they were playing as 5. Navi, you know, General would jump and then he'd kind of get low and have to back away, and then the Lashrak would try and jump in. Like, I'm guessing that's something to do with trying to trigger BKBs, but in the end, it just looked a little bit too scared from Navi. But I'm sure the panel will break down much more in detail than that. But first, we're going to throw it over to a short break, and then we'll be back with game number 2 and the panel analysis.
Completely out.
Have a little minute. My hands are tied.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Haste.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's structures are fortified.
To solitude I return. My soul unspooled.
Radiant are scared. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top.
Hello and welcome back. Age goes down to youth as OG take game one here against NAVI. Misery, why don't you talk me through what went wrong for NAVI there? Because it felt like they were pretty neck and neck up until a certain point of that game.
Yeah, I think it might be just lack of patience, perhaps. It felt like Senking was jumping the gun a couple of times where his team couldn't really follow up in time, and that turned out to be really bad team fights for them. It felt like they were kind of in control of the game throughout. It was just a couple of, I don't know, rushed fights that made them lose the game eventually. Yeah.
Well, where did those rush fights come from then? Is that bad initiation? Is it bad shot calling? What goes wrong there? Is it just bad luck, maybe?
It could be one of those things where the communication can be maybe a bit hectic. People are calling, things at the same time, or just feels like people are not really on the same page in this mid-late game scenarios. I think they played early game and mid game really well. Shadowdim was stacking a lot. Senking got his blink timing. Leshrac was dominating, took mid tower and top tower, and they were doing really well. But when they had to actually close out the game, it felt like, they kind of just started being all over the place.
Yeah, it kind of felt like Sanking, like Sanking played in a way where Leshrac and Luna also had blink daggers. I think is a good way to put it, because he always jumped way past his team, and they just had to run through the mass then, which is like it just makes the fight really awkward. And unfortunately, it happened quite a bit, and OG capitalized perfectly on it.
Yeah, I mean, Navi supports ended up dying first in pretty much every fight, and I think. I mean, it might be a bit on them for the positioning, for sure, but I think it's also due to like we talked about with the Sanking jumping in, like 2,000 range to jump some guy, and then the supports are like running to follow up, and then they just get caught by the Mars Arena, or they get caught by like a flank from Weaver or Klinks. Generally, it's pretty hard to play Shadow Demon and disrupt this game. Like, you die so easily. You die to anything that touches you pretty much. So like Navi didn't really identify that they have to protect their supports more and play like a ball, because Navi, I mean OG don't really have much team fight. They have all these like single target bursty heroes, right? And once you start making the fights really hectic, it's easier for OG to play the fights.
It's interesting. Black, I know that positive is something everyone wants to avoid being in a pandemic, but why don't you be a little bit positive about OG here? What did they do right to win this game?
I think, as Misery said, Navi was a little bit on the impatient side, but when it comes to OG, they were like really patient, and they were looking at those like really good fights where the Sand did overextend, and as we said, they capitalized perfectly on it, and they built a small lead, and then they kept building on it. Because as we kind of alluded to in the draft, if this reaches like a 35-40 minute mark, it's going to be so hard to fight back, because there's so much just physical damage output, not just from the Lina and Klings, but even Mars deals quite a bit of damage. He had a nullifier at the end. He was critting for like 1,000. Weaver is always a threat against this Shadow Demon and Disruptor. Like, he can pretty much just solo kill them. And they pretty much stalled out the game to a point where it was almost guaranteed that they would win. And I think they did it super well without like too many losses on the way.
Are there any particular players you'd highlight there? Because for me, Amar on his Mars, as Lizzard said, Amar, the friend, was he your MVP, or is there someone else there that you'd like to highlight?
I think he's a very good contender to be the MVP, because like the entire lineup pretty much gets tied together by this Mars, especially in early game, right? Like, he's like the only hero they have to protect the 4 heroes that want to play in the backline. And I think he died a couple of times here and there, but he did like a perfect job at just making space for them while still getting very farmed himself as well.
Misery, I want to talk to you a little bit about the youth of OG. I wanted to talk about this in the initial panel, but we ran out of time. Watching 16-year-old players play like that, do you think there's a way that they play differently? Are there things that they do, or attitudes they have, or ways they play that you don't see in older players? Is there something special about them?
Well, first of all, I was going to say, in line with Black, this whole thing about them being really patient, I think that's something that's very particular about this team. Like, they're always patient. It feels like they always just sit back and farm a lot. They are not super aggressive like the old OG team. They all their cores always get so much farm. Like, Amar had nullifier towards the end there. Like, you don't really see that often. Same in their other games. They always seem to all find farm. And they also kind of like to touch on like this young team, right? Like, that's a bit unorthodox, I would say, for all these young guys to be so like calm and like composed in terms of just sitting back and farming, and just like, we're fine. We're going late game. We're playing these tournaments. It doesn't matter. Like, we just play our game, and that's kind of what it feels like. It's, you have to come to them. You have to beat them. Like, they're not gonna flinch in that sense, or not joking or whatever, even though they're really young. So,
is that Misha's influence? Is that what they were like when you played with some of these players, played against some of these players on Creep Wave? Or do you think Misha's had this kind of calming influence on the team? Because I know he was an understudy to No-Tail for a long time. He's been a very experienced player in the team. OG managers and players are always hyping him up to me as a great leader and captain. Do you think he's helping them, or is this something you recognize from the players before?
I don't really know Misha at all, so it's hard for me to say like how the inside of the team works and stuff, but I know that when I played against Amar before, like, that's kind of just his style. Like, he likes to farm. He's like almost like a carry on the offlane, and the mid player is also kind of a greedy player, and then they have a carry player who's like naturally a carry player. So like, they just have 3 farmers, and it might be a captain thing. Who knows? But it works out, at least for now. So.
We've got a draft coming up, but Black, you love farming. You're famed for it. Are you impressed with their farming prowess?
Yeah, as I said, last game, I don't quite know how they found that many creeps on the map, to be honest. Because Mars died like 3 or 4 times, but he was still at the same network of the Leshrac, who had like 4 or 5 kills, didn't really die much. And as Misery said, they just kind of seem to be pulling out money out of thin air.
Maybe
there shouldn't be that many resources there.
Noto has a secret black market of creeps that he ships in for them from behind his trench coat.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me with the way these games are going. Oh, and right off the bat, IO Slaughter.
Slardar is another Amar friends. I'll just call him Amar. His signature heroes, an impressive one. Talk to me a little bit about that one as a pick, the IO Slardar.
It's just been a super strong lane for ever since Overcharge was changed. They give a ton of attack speed. You get this permanent bashes with the Slaughter, ton of right click damage. There's the Ring Crush, it also slows, the Tether slows. Like if you're ever caught by these two heroes out of position, you're just dead. There's no escaping. Like whether you're Monkey King, Silencer, or like any other hero, like you will literally just die.
Interesting. And Misery, talk to me a little bit about these Navi picks, Silence and Monkey King. What's going on here?
Well, that's kind of like not what you see every day.
No.
Silencer pick is kind of, I mean, it's a response to IO, right, to some extent. It might also be just like, let's try something new after the first game. But this could be their carry plus, 5. It could also be 2 supports. That's like, it's the strength of Monkey King in the draft, is that he can be very flexible in that regard.
Yeah, but Silencer feeds against IO Slaughter, right?
Yeah, he does. I mean, Silencer in general is just a feeder, isn't he? It's not much. You don't see this hero that much because he's just so fragile, and he doesn't have a disable.
Yeah, it's just a little slow.
Yeah.
I don't know. He does deal a lot of damage in the lane, but against IO Slaughter, I don't really feel like he can ever really utilize his skill set properly. Like you use your last word on him, Slaughter starts sprinting, and you bam, you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know, like, do you right-click them with your W, or do you skill your Q, or what do you
I don't think you can do that.
I
It's
don't
gonna be
think you have much
QE
impact.
somehow, but they're just gonna out-heal you with IO, who's like
Yeah.
actually just like a super sustained hero. Yeah, it looks already pretty rough. Like Silencer to counter IO, okay, but I'm not a big fan of the hero at all.
No, I mean, I think you want a carry that's not Monkey King here, right? You want a carry that does not care about IO Slaughter, if that makes sense. To just
What's
sit
that
and
though?
farm. Well, it would be Troll, but a Troll is banned.
Yeah, it's gonna be an auto ban every time you pick Slaughter. Just the
think
biggest
you can-
Slaughter counter.
Can you do some like, okay, they pick Bane. Maybe
So it's a
Bane
monkey
is gonna
carry
be the... Yeah, but maybe Bane is gonna be the 5. I don't know.
This Visage pick is so good against Bane as well.
Why is the
Yeah.
Visage pick so good against Bane? Because that's one we've not seen very frequently.
The Burst will just find the Bane every time. He can't grip, and just overall his team fight impact will be way less just because Visage Birds are around. Like Bane against Visage is, I think, one of the worst matchups for the hero in the entire game, I think.
Is that
Makes
a
sense.
Misha one? Because Misha does a lot of micro heroes. He's an Ench and Chen player classically. I've not seen him play a lot of Visage, but is that something he does?
I haven't seen it, but I mean, no, Visage is also pretty unplayed right now, so it's hard to know exactly what the thought process here. I imagine it could be a 5. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But again, like Navi supports just look so fragile again, right? Like against Void Spirit, Slaughter, Visage, like they just feed off these Banes and Silencers in the fights. It's gonna be really hard for them to play the game once again.
And on the contrary, the OG supports are really damn tanky. Like this Visage with the passive and the IO, they're not gonna die easily at all to the Silencer, Bane, Monkey King.
It feels like the Visage doesn't even have to be near the Monkey Arena with his birds as well. So that's a tricky one. What sort of stuff are you looking for Navi to pick up to mitigate this? Is there anything they can do to turn this draft around? There must be something.
They need a ton of damage right now. Like they're lacking damage big time. And Necrophos? Okay, I guess it's a Slaughter answer, but they're not going to be matched up in the lane, I don't think.
Well, who knows? Maybe it's a V2 Necro. But I think it's a good pick because it's it could be like one of those like we do Necrophos Silencer safe lane type of thing, and then they can't like pressure us. Yeah, I think Monkey Mid looks. Like, I would do that right now because you see the Void Spirit already, right? And you kind of need to find a place for this Monkey King to have impact.
Yeah. What Navi is going for them though, I think, is Monkey King and Necro both destroy Void Spirit in the mid lane. Like this Void Spirit should not have a good game whatsoever.
Could also be a no one. I mean, I guess the Necrophos could be like all 3 lanes, right?
Yeah, he could be. Against Visage is very risky though. I would not like to see him off lane. I think mid or safe lane makes the most sense to me.
I don't know. I think some Bane Necro lane no matter what carrier they're up against, Visage won't do anything to that.
So we've
I
got
would
last
say- I
picks
would
here. What are they looking for in OG, do you reckon?
I think they need a win condition, right? I don't know.
How about just like a cookie cutter PA? Slaughter PA, let's go.
Sure. I mean, any kind of carry right now would round up the lineup nicely, I would say.
Yeah.
You want to have a hero that's good against, to some degree, don't care about Necrovos, I think.
Dire team
Go Ranger.
ban. OG's
Yeah, you could do that.
Turn to ban.
Is
Like,
it a
Ranger,
Terror
I think
Blaze, perhaps?
PA is also nice because PA can kind of just play around with when he wants to go in and stuff.
Yeah.
You could also think
Dire
about something
team
like
ban.
maybe Ursa, just because he's such a good matchup against Monkey King.
Yeah, the lane is just going to be a little bit tougher. They could just go back to the Clinks again, honestly. Like, Clinks Slaughter is very scary. Visage Clinks is a strong lane.
Yeah, they could.
If they... I don't know how much they value this Clinks, but
10
he looks pretty
seconds
decent here.
remaining.
And then Navi has the last pick.
5 seconds
A lot of these
remaining.
heroes like you would not expect, right?
Yeah, it kind of feels like the old OG too. Like, they're just pulling all these heroes out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, what the hell is going on? It could even be, Slaughter carry suddenly. Like, what?
Like Misha Wisp with Slaughter carry and like, I don't know, some offlane Visage. Who knows?
Yuragi's not played Slardar, but he could start. It is a first time to play Slardar.
Hey, there is a risk of Necro just perma-feeding, right, against Slaughter IO if they kill at level 1 or 2.
Yes, for sure.
It's a very tricky lane. They're taking a long time on this last ban. I imagine they're having many of the same conversations we are, and they're going to take out the Medusa, which is one of the ones that I thought they could do.
Yeah, Dusa is very strong against Necro. Playing Necro into Dusa is pretty much impossible, so...
How do you round out this Navi lineup though? Because it looks like they don't
hard.
have too much synergy with their heroes. They don't have any team fight really except Monkey King ult
10
and like
seconds remaining.
How about just like a Tide Hunter?
The sack.
That's
Or
an interesting
Leshrac.
one, Leshrac.
okay. So,
So it is a
full-on
Void
aggression.
Spirit. Was it carry Lash?
They've never played Carry Lesh.
No, Amar actually plays Void Spirit quite a lot, I know.
Yeah, that's what I
So
thought too.
It could be like a Visage Void Spirit
10
offlane or something and
seconds
Slaughter
remaining.
carry and Lash mid.
I think I quite like the
5
Tide Hunter
seconds
now.
remaining.
Is it going to be that? No, it's
Choose
a
your
Dragon
Dragon
Knight. Do you like
Knight.
that as well?
So the DK has to be offlane then against this
Because it's a carry Void
carry
Spirit.
Void Spirit. What?
I mean,
Never
you know how these guys and their cores, right? Like they're all kind of carry players, right? So it doesn't really matter if who plays what in this sense.
Yeah,
This is
you're
just
right.
like- Their safe line is just like strong now, right? With you cannot pressure Void Spirit Visage, like
Yeah.
really. And the offlane duo is also strong. Like you just have really strong lanes now.
Mm.
Mhm.
What should we look out for in this OG draft then, Misery?
Well, I mean, it's once again about the Leshrac, right? Who's gonna put this tempo, and you have Wisp to back him up as well, which is a crazy combo. So, I think if Navi, I mean, I don't really know what Navi's trying to do. They have Necro as Lesh mid. I guess that's fine for Necro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's if Leshrac snowballs and takes all the towers, obviously, like OG is gonna run away with it. They have so much aggression in their draft.
What do you think about late game though? If it gets there, Navi is probably going to be stronger there, right? Like Monkey King seems pretty uncontested in this game.
Yeah, I can see that. They also have this Dragon Knight initiation, which is really strong in this game.
Yeah. So I guess the tables are turned this time. Navi wants to survive to late game, and OG is going to be putting under pressure.
Do you back them to survive to late game, Black? You're the late game king.
It looks hard. This OG draft is really strong, and it's not like they're weak in late game. Like this Leshrac, they can.
Silence the birds.
I
Is it red?
think it does. It does.
Okay, so you can grip and then global at least to protect your boy, and then take the fight.
Okay,
Actually-
well, can Navi get a grip of this game? You mentioned that this is going to be a tournament for experimentation, and OG are certainly doing that. Will this experimental draft take them to a 2-0 victory in this first series of the day, or will Navi's experience shine through? We're going to hand over to Nomad and Lizzard, who will take us through this game too.
Thank you very much, Dan, Misery, and Black. Yes, indeed, it is. It's creative, it's fresh, it's funky, coming out from OG. Will it work? Lizzard, tell me. Give me the answers.
I don't have a single idea, honestly. Both of these drafts are extremely funky. Interesting. I can see where they're going for. Which side will prevail, I'm not sure, but jokes aside, you have Slardar and Visage on one side. You have Slardar plus Io on that same side. It's a lot of synergy coming from the Wisp alone. Then you have that Lash that you can tether onto throughout the mid-game, right? There's a lot of this early mid-game potential coming from OG. You will be having a decent lane with the Visage as well, I believe so. Even though you're playing versus a Bane. So basically right now how you play Visage is you just take Soul Assumption, you max out Enchanted Mangoes. People have been doing this for almost like, I don't know, a year, but not a lot of teams actually copied it. Thing is, you're doing it versus a Bane, so you nuke him, he brain sabs the damage back, right? So I'm not sure that this is the best lane for Visage to be in, as Dragon Knight will heal up as well with Dragon's Blood. Then again, you end up with the Bane position 4. Have you seen this, by the way? It's the Aghanim's Rush.
No, I've actually seen the Visage position 5. I saw Maposhka doing that in a pub, but I haven't seen the Bane position 4 recently.
So basically, they go for Aetherlance into an Aghanim's Rush, or straight into Axe Rush. And then you have, what is it, those 3 Banes popping out and gripping.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice, right? But you are playing versus birds, so you will. Panel was right. The birds do get silenced by Global, and actually, it's one of those harder heroes to play against as Visage silencer like this. So,
yeah. Interestingly, I believe if you get well, I know this because I play Visage. If you get the like a purge on yourself, you don't need to purge the birds. You can still drop them using the spell which is bound to the Visage. So
yeah, but you still need some sort of a purge, right? Like you need a
at the position 5 as well. It's not easy for sure. No, very interesting matchups, some very interesting heroes coming out from these guys. I'm excited to get into this game. Yeah, and of course we've got the IO Slardar, which Tiger's carrying over from his days on Liquid. They used to do that all the time.
It's a tale as old as time. You get Bash of the Deep, you get Overcharge, and you just perma-bash the target. The Silencer right now is the bully, and he's the boss of the lane, but in a minute or two, things should change. Tables should turn on him.
Yeah, well, keep an eye on the Slardar's build, because I remember once upon a time, Liquid, when they were playing it, they actually maxed Guardian Sprint on the Slardar, which is very weird. Yeah, we'll see if they go for that.
Because of the IO, right?
Again.
Like, you both benefit from the movement speed. It's it could be fine. Why not? Bash of the Deep and Sprint and leave level 1 Slithering Crush. I think that's an option that they can do.
Yeah, let's see which order they decide to go about it. Meanwhile, BZM versus no one in the middle lane. BZM did get the advantage last time, but when those rotations started coming, they kind of opened up no one's game a bit more. So far, though, this Necro is off to a very good start in the middle lane.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same CS, but in the opposite direction. In top lane, they're actually chasing Taiga.
Yep, he will pop that overcharge. A lot of damage coming now onto V-Tune. V-Tune just getting stunned up again and again. This is the overcharge going to work, but Solo's still going to get that first blood onto Tiger.
And we have -2 in the chat. We're gonna have we're gonna have a lot of those. Yeah, they made the right move. They got those boots on V-Tune, and they were the first one to strike. It's very important. Still, though, I feel like eventually Slardar should do quite well in this lane with the IO.
A tithe to the impurities.
I can't wait for the IO to end up at like -32 intelligence, just like not able to cast more than one spell and sitting in base eating soup with a fork.
The Slardar isn't much. Slardar isn't much of a gentleman himself as well, sitting on 18 ints. So
they'll do their best. Yeah. Dumb lane up in top. I relate. We'll see how this goes, though. But I mean, already I wasn't expecting much from the Silencer Monkey King lane, because I kind of assume Monkey King you want to get like some kind of slow along to go with him. But oh, BZM, oh my god, he's so low. Is gonna just about survive this one and pick up that rune. But yeah, struggling in this middle lane.
when you're talking about slow, you do have it. There's Orb of Venom on Monkey, and then there's Arcane Curse. That's how you play this silencer, right? And look at his item build. Like, you don't really see an old talisman on a position 5. It's an old school thing that used to be built on a Disruptor plus Luna lane. You would get an ult tally, and then with the aura, the Disruptor would just hit so hard. On Silencer, it's also pretty neat, as you can spam out the Arcane Curse, and you dish out quite a bit of damage with Glaives of Wisdom, so it's nice. The lane is more difficult than it seems to at first sight.
Would he have done this if he didn't get First Blood? Was he going for the Null Talisman anyway?
Well, now, that's a good question. It's possible that he wouldn't go for it, right? Sometimes when you have an advantage, you push it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, mid lane. Reaper Scythe coming down. Not going to be enough to finish off BZM though. BZM is just about going to survive on a modicum of HP, but man, he is getting worked in this middle lane. But the fact that he doesn't get a kill with the Reaper's Scythe does feel a little bit bad for the Necro top. Yep, absolutely. They're piling it onto Solo with that overcharge. The overcharge will end, but the bash is ready from Amar. They get the kill, but if Amar goes down for this, it's not going to be worthwhile. But VTune, I'm not sure he's got the capabilities to chase this one, and they will get out. They get away with it on the side of OG up in the top lane.
It's just a matter of time, right? Slardar plus Io. It's just a matter of time before they strike, and as a silencer, it's extremely difficult to be in the right position at every single moment because of that sprint and one hit bash from Slardar. You just die so easily.
Yeah. It's a pretty brutal one, and that is why they first face this combo. You know, there's very little you can do about it. But I mean, that said, it's now 1-for-1 up in the top lane, you know, bottom lane. And we haven't really touched upon this safe lane Void Spirit. Are you avoiding this one, Lizzard? Are you scared of talking about this?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Void Spirit what? Mid? Safe lane? No, well, they do have objective taking capabilities from the Lash, right? And the Visage Slardar can bring the physical damage in that mid game. So you can have a playmaking kind of a hero on that safe lane. Will it work out for them? We'll see, but all they need is someone top lane.
Once again, going on to VTune, as Tiger's getting pretty low just to Solo's right clicks though in the meanwhile. And I think Tiger is gonna just about survive this one, as is the Monkey King, so just some very aggressive trading up at the top side.
I actually thought that someone would build a vessel on their team. Obviously, Io doesn't do it anymore, it's just not the build that you go for. You go for Holy Locket and Mech. I actually thought Yuragi might be the one building it, but he's going for Yules instead. And you also need the Yules. You need something to dispel the silence with, you need something to... There's just so many things. Yules is very valuable. Still, a Vessel would be nice versus Necrophos.
Well, it's a direct 180 from the last game's laning phase where we had all of the OG heroes at the top of the net worth chart after the kind of 5-10 minute mark. This time around, it's all the Navi heroes at the top. Let's see what they can do with it, as Lohut Dance does come into contact with the Lashrak, but...
You just don't see the supports. They didn't see Taiga on the map. They also didn't see Visage on the map, so... Because of that fact, you can't go for the kill. And sleep was a little bit too early. It was more that Bane was found than that Bane found Flash.
Crossing paths, strangers crossing paths in the night.
I'm just thinking, like, this bottom lane, Yuragi, is he truly a threat to General at any point? Can he kill him? Let's see, because he will be pressuring this tier 1.
Yeah, let's see what they can do, but the top lane, a bit of harassment going on as well. Just trades on trades.
No, Yuragi is actually TPing top.
He's done with this. He doesn't want to party with the DK anymore. He wants to go and have some fun in the top lane, see if they can get a kill, and then they will go up onto the top side of the map. Io getting pretty low in the process, but in comes Yuragi, working down onto Solo. They want to try and take down the Monkey King, though. That is their main target. The Bane is in. Sleep out onto Yuragi. Amar getting low, but turns around to smashes poor old Solo to bits. And they don't lose anyone on the side of OG.
Yeah, but this is the point, right? Like, your carry isn't truly that classic position 1. He's more of a, okay, I'm going to get some farm on that safe lane, then I'll leave it to Visage, so he gets his levels while I rotate around and create space. However, Misha, he might not get a lot here.
Well, he definitely got something.
Mid lane sleep. Can they? Nah, I don't think this is... Mid lane sleep. Can they? Nah, I don't think this is... 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 Can they? Nah, I don't think this is I don't think this is a play.
Dire's top
Yeah,
tower
so Misha is fine. He
Radiant's
got level
bottom
5,
tower
right?
has
And he
fallen.
defended bottom a little bit. It's important that one of these two supports gets 6 on his own, because they're both, like, they benefit from that level 6 so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slard are actually going for the Mask of Madness, right? Yeah, this is a build. This is your standard right-clicking Slardar build with IO. You'll just be rushing straight into them. Might get Blink after, might get a BKB even
Dire's top
straight.
tower is under attack.
Very interesting, the builds coming out from this OG team. They've got a strategy, and now they jump forward onto the Necrophos in the middle lane. No one getting low, but not quite low enough. And now VTune comes jumping on in here, looking for a target. Won't really find one, though, as they just kind of trade in the middle lane, defend, hold the base. Meanwhile, General, he's actually started knocking on the tier 2 tower down here in the bottom lane. Yuragi can't seem to lane against him.
What do you do? It's a general style of playing. If you think about how he started the lane, even he went with 3 gauntlets of strength, then it goes into power treads. You just can't hurt him, and he will take the tower or pressure it if he wants to. At least tier 1s. Top lane relocate.
Reload up to top. Yep, they want to find themselves a target, and that target is going to be the Silencer. Goodbye, Sweet Prince. Solo will fall, and the tower will go down along with it.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Fortification comes out, but that tower is gone.
Yeah, and they will reload back actually to defend it. Slardar can take it on his own.
Yep.
While Slardar is taking the top, they can defend mid lane with that reload back, and so far OG is playing this game really well. The only question remains is if Slardar will be that true position 1 that they need. And you see like Mask of Madness, Blink, BKB. Meanwhile, Yuragi is still working towards that Yules.
Yeah, definitely needs the Yules in this game. You're playing against the Silencer. It's not really another choice, unfortunately, so if he gets ultied when he's in the middle of a team fight, he will just get absolutely peppered unless he can get that silence off him, which is exactly what the Yules will do.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I'm wondering what the build is after that. I mean, I'd be very surprised if it wasn't an Aghanim Scepter. Does just seem super good, and I'm also interested to see if Aloha does commit to the Aghanims, because I'm not sure it's the best game for it. Even if that is the build on Pulse 4, like, look at the amount of AoE stuns and, like, silences and stuff they'll have on the side of OG when he gets that Ags. That's a lot.
Well, alright, there's what then? Glimmer Cape? You know, like, the thing is, like, I don't disagree with you. It's not the perfect Aghanims game, but now that you're stuck with the position 4 Bane, you know, you
need
might
to do
just
something
as well
with it,
do
yeah.
something that's impactful. Or perhaps switch
There
the
you go.
Bane into 5 and get Silencer on a 4. That's also a possibility.
I mean, right now, Silencer does have about 400 gold more than the Bane, but yeah, we'll see which way round they decide to do it. On Na'Vi, as they come in once again for this push into the middle lane. OG, will they defend this one? I mean, it's very hard. It's a Necro and it's a Dragon Knight. These two heroes are just not killable at the current state of the game. That said, I mean, throwing stuff at the DK. Can they bring him down? The Global Silence is out, and back they will go on the side of OG. They managed to bait out the Global Silence, not really overcommitting for the kill. And now, well, they're going to keep on going here, but Misha's Bird's getting a little bit low here. Gotta heal them up. And, I mean, it's kind of just a defense from OG more than anything, right?
Yep, pretty much. It was just a defense, but they also baited out Dragon Form plus Global Silence. So you defended, and at the same time, you did force them to use some crucial spells. I felt like OG, maybe they could have initiated with Yuragi a little bit faster, because he's the catch, right? Without him, right now there is no plays. You need a Slardar Blink Dagger before you make a move. So you're fine. Overall, you're fine with just forcing the global. There's a smoke from Navi.
They're on the prowl. Who will they find? Well, we shall see. It is a fresh Blink Dagger from Mr. General. That is why they smoke. This is what they're looking for. But they need to move quick if they're going to find something. It's a little slow from Navi, isn't it? It's a little bit... Maybe they're waiting for someone to show up mid, but yeah.
I guess you're just securing the tier 1. It's not that bad of a move. Flash.
Smoke popped. Nice stun onto 2. That is good. And now they get the grab out onto the Lesh Rack as well. Tiger going for the TP out. Can he make it out? No, he cannot. BZM will go down regardless. And that is 47 seconds dead at 14 minutes into the game. Very fun and cool mechanic. Thank you, Gabe.
It was, yeah, that's not the most fun mechanic to play against. I agree. Nice tether away. Can he survive?
Cute.
He has that Arcane's Curse. Should be fine. Oh, maybe not.
Oh, BG with the double damage. We'll find him with the donk.
Yeah, so they rotated. I think Navi is doing this really nicely. Even in that first game, the way they rotate around objectives is stellar. Like, they smoked up, they put Necro without the smoke on mid to take the tier 1. Meanwhile, they're just waiting for anyone to show themselves, and they found pretty much the perfect target in that flash rack. The thing is, though, the last game looked very similar, and then it kinda went out of their control.
Smoke up. OG. They're the ones playing the wraparound game this time around. They were like, hey, that's a cool move, Navi. Why don't we give it a try? Let's see if it works out for them similarly.
Do you feel that OG actually have the late game here? Like,
No, not even slightly. Why, do you? Oh, jump in, all hell's breaking loose. Global Silence has come out, punishing the Slardar from jumping in a little bit too overzealously. As that ultimate from the Silencer was still available, the team just couldn't back it up. But 5-man stun from the Birds is going to hold back NAVI as Yuragi now jumping into this one. He feels free, but what can he really do? Not much seems to be the answer to the jump into the last rack and stun him up, take him down. BCM healing up, Tiger trying to keep him alive, but they just can't do it. Not enough in the tank as NAVI get a second, and now they're looking for a third. They're moving over towards Tiger, the little ball of light being smacked away by the Monkey King. V-Tune will need a few more hits. Tiger just going to be able to make it under the tower here, but General blinking in on tier 2 tower, no problem at all. They'll tank it up as Navi get themselves a further kill.
yeah. No, I agree with you. I don't see, besides the Slardar scaling really well, and maybe some magic from the Void Spirit, I feel like this draft again is way easier to execute if you're Navi. Like, you don't have to do anything cute. You just need to take proper fights and just farm up on the monkey. Like, this Necro already is a beast. Keep in mind, he has a hood and a full Shiva's complete that's flying over to him. So those birds, not only Monkey King.
Yeah, it's a little awkward here. I mean, OG trying to commit to it. Tiger maybe getting the wrong end of the stick here. Oh, the stun just about missed from V-Tune, and Tiger will get out. Okay, alright. Works out in the end for OG.
There's the Shivas. And now, these birds, they're not really able to hurt anyone. If they get clipped on by Shivas, like, you know how much Visage I play. And at this point, they're only a stun. Which is, like, truth be told, what they truly are anyway. Yuragi?
Yeah, you're playing POS 5, right? He is stunned here, and now he's gripped, and now he's repossessed! Oh my god! Jesus, he just gets his carrot crunch in the bottom lane.
Also keep in mind that, like, OG's draft and the way they deal damage, it's mostly mitigated by the AoE heal from Necro as well. It might not look like a lot, but in that mid lane fight, Necro was constantly just pumping out that pulses, healing up his teammates, and Lash can't really take anyone down.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
17 minutes, almost 18 minutes into this game. It's a 4k gold advantage for Navi. Their Necrophos has hit 10k net worth at 17 minutes into the game. That is just an insane timing.
Yeah, instantly followed by the Monkey King, who's second. And from this monkey, all you pretty much need is a BKB. I feel like with the moment you get that BKB, you can take any fight that you want to. Like, the damage will come from your Necro, from the DK, and you will live long enough to dish out damage anyway with Wukong's command.
Yeah. They just, I mean, I don't know, maybe the Slardar can bring him down if he doesn't get off the Wukongs. You know, they've got a lot of interrupts to that, but then you're just kind of ignoring the fact that there's a Necrophos who's going to be pounding everyone in these fights.
Needs the BKB, right? Needs the BKB on Slardar. Once you get that, perhaps you can make a decent fight on your side. But last game, like, I wasn't really biased that hard to any particular draft. I actually thought that Navi had a little bit of a better chance, and it was their game to win or lose, which they did lose in the end. This time around, I definitely think it's Navi's game to lose. Like, I feel, or win, that is. They're in full control. They just need to play properly and it shouldn't be too difficult to take this one. Seeing the draft, obviously, in hindsight, seeing the draft unravel.
Dire's top tower is
Yeah,
under
yeah.
attack.
OG definitely being very experimental in this game too. You know, they've got their 1-game buffer. They're feeling confident enough to mix things up a bit. Oh, hello, Hadan. Bird's gonna take off the Nightmare. That is handy.
Like, you look at Navi and you're thinking, okay,
Dire's top
which
tower
one of these
is under
heroes
attack.
can die? Which one of these cores can die if they initiate on him? It's pretty much Monkey King alone, right? And he's always covered by Aloha Dance. He's there to make sure if they do go on him, he's going to sleep someone, grip the other target, reset the fight. They're running uphill though. This is usually
Sure.
dangerous.
Get away. Alright. They clear out the triangle. They won't get a kill on Navi at the moment, but they get OG out of their triangle. But they'd already farmed it anyway. They didn't want to be there.
Just look at the couriers from OG. They know exactly. They know exactly where Navi is. Like, they're moving around the triangle with the couriers. They understand it. It's not something that caught them off guard in the last game as well. Like, they always read Navi's smokes really, really well.
Dire's top
That said, though,
tower
it is
is
just
under
so punishing
attack.
if you do get caught out. Like, it's going to be so hard to survive. You've got the grip, you've got the Reaper Scythe, and that's not going to change. Whether they get BKBs or not, that is always going to be a huge issue for the OG heroes to deal with. And we see here Yuragi farming down at bottom. He's going in for the Aghanim Scepter as expected, so that will be his build. Nothing crazy in the carry position, not like a Desolator or something. He is just going for the standard Void Spirit build, but just playing in the safe lane.
In general, it was a peculiar TP. I guess he wanted to perhaps make a move and catch someone, but wasn't sure if he wanted to jump onto the high ground or not. And now they're moving there kind of together. No one leading the pack.
Yeah, BZM just going to clean out these creeps and run himself away really, really fast. So unless the Monkey King can somehow get there in time, which he can't, I don't
Relocate?
think there's going to be a
Aloha
kill.
Dance?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Just moving across. I mean, this is now going to put them in a really awkward position when they reload back as well. So OG almost need to make something happen here or they're just going to lose their IO. Mar coming around the side, dropping down the... Oh my god, so much damage! The side,
Reload
but the
out.
side, but the reload out. It resets them, but the grip is still going. The Leshrac can't run away. Can he actually escape from this? No, he cannot with the weak Rokon's command coming out as well. He is gone, but Navi, they're taking a little bit of damage here due to Yuragi, but unfortunately Yuragi, his spell's now on cooldown. Can't really do much more, but featured in the backlines, Amar finds him, poking in through the back. They get the Monkey King kill, so pretty good trade for OG right now, but will the... Oh, Slider, blink away. He's going to be okay.
Alright. That was actually pretty dope from them. That was pretty sick. They played it really well. Amar actually dishes out so much damage. Like, we talked about the Corrosive Haze and the birds. This obliterated the Monkey King. He took a lot of damage. He was forced to jump away, and he jumps away in loving hands of Slardar anyway. Keep in mind that they decided to fight in the river too, which is something that Slardar will enjoy. Right, Amar the fucker in the river. That's where he does his thing, and he just chased one target after another and got away in the end. That's 200 gold away from the BKB. Maybe if you're Navi, you didn't really have to force the matter there and should have waited for the BKB on Monkey. Which is something that changes things. But I have to say that I was impressed by the amount of damage that OG was dishing out.
Yeah, the Monkey King took 2k magical damage and only 400 physical, so very much a thing where if he had BKB there, he would have been okay.
Plus the reload on Lash was actually... It's not like Taiga timed it perfectly, it's just that the reload was, preemptively used anyway. So he gets the Lash out of trouble, at least for a little while.
Dire's middle tower is
He
under
does indeed.
attack.
He does indeed. Yeah, a little bit interesting, that mechanic there. But meanwhile, inside Roshan, they are getting started. The Leshrac
Dire are scanning.
unleashing.
Yeah, this will
Yeah,
fall
I mean-
really fast.
Yeah, they have the Slaughter.
And there's the
Always-
scan, but I don't know. I felt like Navi is in control of this game, and now it's just like in the first one. It feels like it's slipping away with one wrong move, one fight before BKB, then suddenly you lose Roshan. Like OG, I have to give it to them. They're very decisive with their moves. They instantly take objective that is
Radiant
available
are
to them.
scanning.
Amar.
Jump in, stun. This might be Amal going down. Reaper's side is going to get him. And and that is a dead fish. But meanwhile, they will get the trade onto Aloha Dance. Not a great trade for OG to start us off. Can they go for more? I'm not sure they can. Misha jumping in with a 2-man stun with the birds, but this Leshrac is just getting absolutely sliced up, and now Beijing's just going to drop down the Wukong's command directly on top of that respawn location. Global Silence comes out. It's not going to make a difference. The Leshrac's not escaping this one as BZM will fall.
All right, Amar, like, River is definitely your place, but you got it this time around. Like, he goes in. He got the BKB, that's why he's running like that. And now Misha will most likely die as well.
Wow.
Yeah,
BKB from V-Tune as well. I mean, sure, why not, I guess? Just guarantee the kill.
Yeah, maybe not completely necessary there, but it guarantees the kill. And it's for Solo's intelligence, you know. They give him that extra +2. You have to protect your captain, you have to give him everything that he wants to. But Amar, if he just used the BKB there, the fight would have been different. But he didn't, and he got sighted.
I mean, the Silencer, I mean, according to my pub games, he's going the complete wrong build. He's got no Midas, no Dragonlance, I mean...
No, this is like, not necessarily a Silencer build. This is just a position 5 build, right? He went for the Solar Crest that buffs up his teammates, helps against the Slardar as well. The Shine is really nice, so it's not necessarily... If he was anything else, he probably would have went for the same build.
Yeah. Build for the game, not for the hero, especially when you're playing support. Well, only when you're playing support, really.
No, not necessarily. Like there are cores that can do that as well. Like if you think about Venomancer, right? As a core hero, you can pretty much build him for the game. It doesn't really matter what the hero itself needs. There's a couple of others as well that just need to adjust to the game itself.
OG hunting, but Navi not showing.
I don't feel OG feels that discouraged. Like they have an Aghanims on Void and the BKB on Slardar, and their mindset is probably Amar, please use the BKB. Like try clicking it next fight, and then we might win it. I think that's pretty much the way they approach it. General.
Multi-pop from General here. They're looking for a target. Yuragi has been seen, but he's going to get himself away. Still holding on to that Tumbler's Toy as well, which is actually doing him a lot of work here. Global Silence going to come out as they've got the grip onto the Leshrac. Reaper's side comes down as well. BZM is gone. Navi just are not afraid to just dump everything they've got onto one hero, because they know that without this one core hero, it's very hard for OG to take this fight and defend this high ground. And now Navi, they're either searching for a buyback, which is not available, or they're just going to force the issue.
Maybe you can delay it a bit on the side of OG, but this will be an extremely difficult side to defend completely.
It's not looking very delayed to me as they get the stun out onto Yuragi. No, he's gone! So quick there as he's just taken out. The Slardar tries to jump in and use his parried death as some kind of entry, but it's just not happening for OG in this game. 2 heroes dead. Navi beating away at their barracks. 27 minutes into this game, it's just not clicking together this time.
Yeah, it's a good old OG style. You know, you experiment, you dance on the line, and sometimes you fall off the ledge. It's fine. I respect the experimentation, the trying of this position 5 Visage plus Slardar offlane. I still think that maybe if they didn't just feed away the Aegis and they popped that BKB, it would have been easier right now for them. But at the moment, it's really looking rough.
Yep, Navi messed up, gave them the Roshan, and unfortunately OG then messed up and gave away the Aegis, which kind of reset it just back to being Navi's game.
Actually, when we were talking about the item builds on the side of Navi, and Aloha Dance went for Aetherlance, and now he's building a 4-staff, so it's not the eggs that we maybe expected. So they got these 2 position 5s pretty much that are just building full utility.
Yeah.
General.
Whoa, risky invis rune, but does pop the smokes, and you know what? That's pretty worthwhile. Let's see what they can do here. Jumping on the target, that is a target they want. The Aya will not be surviving, and no buyback potential from him either. Meanwhile, Monkey King up to the trees. Yuragi gonna silence him up and stop him jumping down for the time being, but BZM may well just be the next target. Navi, who can they find? These damn birds just pestering them over and over again. And even going to take off the grip. They're going to have to grip this guy out. All right, fair enough. And the Reaper's Slave. Yeah, that's just rude. That's a position 5.
Yeah, it's just make him disappear from the game for 70 seconds. It's a captain, you know, like as a captain, you have some fun coordinating the game and making shots anyway, so, you know, if you die, you're fine. At least that's kind of nice for Misha. But I'm thinking, like, Navi, they have this tier 1 and tier 2 on the top lane, and that's where they have to rotate. They can't really take another side without those 2 objectives. This game is looking as good as over, really.
Some real copium from you right there, Lizzard. Oh, I don't mind being Reaper's side. It means I can captain my team better. That's fine, guys.
That's true, you know, like, you have to, you know, I like microing, but microing 4 players together with the hero, it gets tough.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Sure it does. Navi continuing to choke out this game as they move into the top lane.
Yeah, that smoke from OG was, you know, one of those moves that you do when you don't really have any other options anymore. You're in your base, you're 2 sides down, you smoke up and you try and catch them off guard. Aloha Dance?
Very aggressive TPing here from OG. They want to try and take down this Vayne, but that's not really happening as the Necrophos comes in with that shard onto Yuragi. What's that shard called again?
On who?
Radiant's top
Necro?
tower is under attack.
It's that Seeker.
Death Seeker.
Yeah,
Edgy.
it seeks death.
My goodness. So cool.
It's a pretty sick one, pretty solid. Top lane?
Oh, they found the silencer. Great pickoff from the side of OG. Okay. Finally, they make a move that works. What's next?
He doesn't have a
Navi are just
buyback.
He does not. No possibility of a buyback ulti, but OG, I mean, they got to be a little bit careful of that, because they're just like, if he does buy back an ulti, we could be in a bit of trouble. Nice jump away from Yuragi here. Not going to get stunned up by General as he blinks into nothing.
Nice
and
stun.
now, stun in the backlines, and Mars jumping in, finding out the locations. However, the ultimate comes down. They're just tearing apart Yuragi. Yuragi is gone, but maybe they can bring down the Slardar here as well. Yeah, now they are back in full force. OG try their hardest to make something happen here, but they can't hook on those bloody supports every single time. And I think Tiger might be in a spot of difficulty now.
Yep, they leave the kill. Even though they killed Silencer, even though they didn't have Silencer, Navi still decides to fight that team fight because they're just so far ahead. It's even just the gold lead, it's how their hero works and how difficult it is for them to die in a game such as this one. The Halberd on Dragonite, the Force Staff on Bane, Monkey with Wukong's just being unkillable.
Do you know what no one's got coming out to him on the courier?
What?
A nice lovely level 2 Dagon.
Level 2? Instantly? Yeah, why not?
Oh, jump in, stun. They've tried to smoke around the back here, but they've immediately found the stun out onto Misha. They want to try and take him down. Global Silence, it's out. But the Monkey King, he's getting so low. Can they finish him off? V-Tune, he's running out of life, and they will be able to get the kill. BZM alive for the time being. Tiger, how much health can he give him? Not quite enough. So they will trade for now, but they're looking towards the Necrophos. That Necrophos is bloody difficult to kill off at this point. And Yuragi, the death is seeking him. It's just a regular pulse, actually. He's going to make it back to the fountain in time. That I think he will be okay.
He dies!
No, he's not. He's dead. Oh no.
GG.
Death suck him, and the GGs come out. This game is gonna go to Navi. Maybe, you know, sometimes there's such a thing as a little bit too much experimentation, I think.
Well, I would agree completely without seeing the game, right? But if you watch the game carefully, and if you saw the team fight in the river around that first Roshan, it looked like OG, they did have what it took to take a decent team fight. And then they took ages afterwards as well. It sometimes just falls apart completely after losing one fight when you got all the items that you needed. They got that BKB and ages, and then they threw the next fight with Amar not really popping it fast enough. These kind of things can completely obliterate your game plan, and I think that's what happened. But props to Navi. They had a really decent draft, and they executed it properly.
Yeah, they played around no one so well, which is really nice to see Navi having a bit of coordination and really kind of laying OG down and saying, you know, if you're going to come out with an idea, it better be a damn good one. All right, folks, we're going to take it to a short break. Then we're going to be back for the analysis and Game 3 of the series of OG versus Navi here at the OGA Dota Pit Season 5. We'll see you very soon.
are scanning.
Sweet ablution.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Well, hello and welcome back. That's the thing with experiments. Sometimes you get your eyebrows singed, Misery and Black. You guys liked that Navi draft. Misery, why don't you talk to me about what you got so very wrong?
Well, I don't think the draft itself is that bad. It's more like the Navi's lane core matchups were just so dominant that like OG's heroes never really got off to a proper start in this game. Navi were top net worth like from 5 minutes in, and I don't think that never really let go too much. So yeah, and if you look at Navi's cores individually, like Dragon Knight, Monkey King, Necrophos, they're all so strong in lane, almost against anything. So I think that's what kind of made this game seem very easy for Navi. Maybe against another 5 heroes, OG's draft would have looked amazing, right? With the Wisp Flesh just running down lanes and Slaughter like Mask of Madness bashing people to death. But yeah, not this time around.
Yeah,
Black, do you agree?
I mean, I did think OG would be doing better than they did, but obviously, if you lose all 3 lanes in Dota, it's like super hard to really play the game in any capacity, really. And they had like one really good fight where they did end up taking the Aegis. Unfortunately, then right after they took a bad fight, lost at Aegis, and everything was back in Navi's court again. But yeah, like I would have really liked if they just last picked the proper carry hero, kind of just tank the bad matchup middle, but then have something to fall back on in that mid late game portion that OG always liked to play so much, in the past couple of games. Like this game was a pretty big change of style, I'd say.
Does it feel like it was a draft a little bit kind of out of a scrim that maybe doesn't work in the real world, or were they reacting to picks and ended up doing something they were uncomfortable with? What do you think?
I mean, I don't think they look at this and be like, "Oh, we were so outdrafted." I think it's more about just these matchups in the laning phase. I mean, maybe they were outdrafted in this particular game, but I don't think, their draft is that bad. I think, but I agree. I think the Silencer, Necrophos, Dragon Knight, these 3 heroes as a combination, this game was just so good. Like this Dragon Knight instant stun into Necrophos ult, and then global is like, there's just no save, right? Like you can't do anything. The IO had no impact in this game. So the Silencer worked out really well, and we thought it was gonna feed this game, but it turned out to have like really high impact.
Didn't feed at all. Made the enemy team feed.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Navi played really well this game. Like
They certainly did.
They played really well in game 1 as well, but this time they actually managed to they had like a little, as we said, a little bit of a bad fight at the Roshan area, but after that it was all Navi again, and
it's kind of like
they showed they can close the game.
This game as well, though, I agree with what Lizzard said during the cast. Is like it felt like the game was almost slipping out of their hands when Radiant took Roshan, and then but the problem was that then OG just ran in and died like 4 heroes and lost Aegis and everything. So it was like okay, whatever. But it felt like OG throughout this mid game was playing the map better. Wisp Leshrac was farming a lot more, and like Whitespear was running down bot lane. Leshrac was like farming top and pushing out top, and Navi were kind of just running in circles, not really sure like how to progress from there. So I think Navi ended up winning this game, but if OG maybe just chilled and or Amar popped his BKB that fight, maybe it would have been different, right? Like he didn't BKB, he just got stunned and killed. So,
but did you think it's a byproduct just of the like draft direction in general, where they're like, oh, we got this really aggressive draft, let's play like super aggro, even though they didn't have to, it was like still in their head, and then they just go in and go in and go in, even though it was probably not the right call at the time.
I mean, if Uragi had played some PA, and had or whatever, just a normal carry hero, and had like needed certain money for BKB or whatever, just a hero that likes to farm more creeps and go late game, then he probably would not have, maybe them as a team wouldn't even think about like doing this move. They would be like, well, we got this, the game's over, right? We have this carry, we're like, we have Aegis, but this proactive draft doesn't fit them as well, I think, as these more greedier sit back and farm, let the enemy come to you type of drafts. I think that's what they should aim for going forward, OG.
Well, talking about what they're going to be aiming for going forwards, we are straight into a draft now for this game 3 with some picks already underway, some bans, already underway. We've got the Razor and the Weaver band for Navi and a Beastmaster band for OG. What sort of stuff do you want to see them going forwards based off these bans, Black?
So Weaver's banned. OG really likes the Weaver. They always seem to be banning out the Beastmaster, so really respect that Helm of the Overlord Beastmaster play. But yeah, as Misery said, I think they should just go back to the style they played in Game 1 and the previous series they played before that. Like, just let them come to you. I think that's what they're best at. They always find a lot of farm on the map. And when the enemy team tries to punish them, they're always ready to just protect their own cores. I think that's what they should be doing again in this game. Or maybe they'll just go crazy again, experiment some more, and we'll see what happens.
Picking up the Witch Doctor, that's a slightly unusual one. Solo has played it quite a lot recently. Is that a pick you ever expect to see, Misery?
No, probably not. I wouldn't say so. I think the only team who's done this consistently in the past was Secret a while back, where they just picked first pick Witch Doctor for like a tournament, and it's very casual. But I don't know.
The play is just to pick a hard carry and you aura him, right? Or you heal him?
I think it depends, right, on what you're up against. He has like two ways of playing. You can push the lane with heal, or you can just play on the Maledict level 3 kind of timing.
Yeah.
Okay, this opening I like from OG. This is something they did in the DPC as well. So this is more like, okay, now we need to win kind of opening. At least that's the way I read it.
Viper straight away.
Dang.
More unusual pick. Talk to me, before we move on to the Navi picks, I'm interested to know why the Ember Shadow Demon is a now we need to win combo. What does it do particularly well, Misery?
I don't know if there's like necessarily any like insane synergy or something like that. It's more like, I think this is their like, comfort zone, maybe their best strategy type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I would assume from watching their previous games. It's like Misha, Shadow Demon, 5, and then Ember Spirit. They have this anti-carry hero in Shadow Demon, and like Playmaker mid, and now they can pick 2 farm heavy cores for Amar and Yuraki.
It is always the Ember middle though, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they
Because
might
the matchup
swap
against
it.
Viper is very sad.
Yeah, they might be thinking about swapping it now just because of the Viper. But
yeah,
I mean,
going into that Viper, is that just a reaction then to the Ember? Because I'm an Ember player and I hate playing against Viper. I mean, everyone hates playing against Viper, but especially as Ember. Is that why they picked this up? Just to screw on him?
Yeah, if they don't change the lanes, then Ember's gonna get screwed over, right? And if they do change the lanes, like side lane Ember Spirit is not nearly as impactful as a mid lane Ember Spirit. Like on the side lanes, he's a lot weaker than he is on mid. Because the Sleight of Fist spam doesn't come online as quickly. You just don't get the levels you really need to start roaming around the map effectively. So I quite like this Viper pick because they also have the option to actually just like lane it in the off lane if they want to pick another mid hero later on.
do you think Navi after game 1 has talked about potentially just picking winning matchups for laning phase? So that's kind of what it looks like right now, right? Like pick Dragon Knight, Necrophos, Monkey King game 1. Now they pick Witch Doctor and Viper. Viper which responds to Ember, but the Witch Doctor also being like a really strong 5, right? Like you can basically not lose your lane with a Witch Doctor 5.
Yeah. If you think about it, it makes perfect sense though, right? Against a team like OG that has like 3 pretty farm heavy cores, because if they all 3 lose the lane, nobody's really gonna make a move to start a big comeback. And it can just snowball from there. So in that sense, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
what's interesting as well is Navi are banning out the mid laners, so BMZ's classic mid laners, Lina, Invoker. So they clearly think that they're going to want to move this Ember Spirit. Do you agree with that as an analysis?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, if you were to pick like Quasvex or just this Exort, whatever, Invoker, mid against Viper and put some Ember 4 or whatever, I think you already kind of put Navi in a weird spot because their heroes are very dependent on winning the lanes. Like if they don't win their lanes heavily with Witch Doctor Viper, they don't do that much going into mid game, I would say.
Ranger.
Maybe this is their mid. It could also be a 4.
Could be their mid against Viper, yeah. Can be a 4 too.
Yeah, it's like open pick for sure. It's gonna be hard for Navi maybe now to pick their 2 consecutive heroes here.
Yeah.
Although they should probably just focus on making their own lineup work, right? Like pick some frontliners or some initiation here.
5 seconds remaining.
It feels a bit awkward, right? And they have this like a Viper Witch Doctor, and you're kind of like,
Well, right now it looks awkward, but if you pick 2 heroes that work well with it, then you can like make it work right.
Give me a Faces Void. Something like that.
I mean, maybe they.
Anything else you'd like to see as a 1-2 punch? Faceless Void, something tanky, something frontliney?
Yeah. I mean, I just like Void because it's a combo with the Witch Doctor. The lane is quite strong, can't really lose the lane, and it actually makes Viper be able to deal a lot of damage in team fights.
Do you just go like Dragon Knight again?
Dire team
Or was
Your
it?
DK, very good pick. Nyx Assassin.
Nyx.
Necro. Oh, again. Necro against Shadow Demon is so much weaker, though.
Yeah, it
It's an
is.
interesting one.
It is kind of, but at the same time, like you better kill the Necrophos, right? You have to kill the
10
Necrophos during
seconds
the purge.
remaining.
If you don't, then it's kind of whatever. Like, because Necro is gonna
Yeah.
feel tanky
5
anyways.
seconds remaining.
Do you like the Snakes? It doesn't really counter anything other than the Ember, who's already countered.
Well, it's a strong lane, right? Like Nyx Necro, you're just gonna go off lane and Necro
Yeah.
free farm
team
there.
ban.
Yeah, it could be even a Viper Nyx and put Necro middle again. Oh, this Drow is so good, though. It's so good against all these heroes.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good.
Yeah, they have nothing to jump the Drow Ranger either. Now they just pick another, probably offlaner to sort of just protect her
10
from
seconds remaining.
potential.
But maybe Navi can change it up now and pick like something,
5
some carry
seconds
hero
remaining.
where they can go late game, you know, and just.
Yeah. What would you like to see?
You cannot really ban all the Drow, like the carry heroes that counter Drow. I think, like it counter quote unquote, right? Like Drow kind of is strong against.
OG's
Yeah.
turn to
It
ban.
draws-
Away, but
Good against like all her counters too, pretty much.
Yeah,
Just depends on the
exactly.
positioning, right?
exactly. Like so.
Yeah.
So what can you do? Like you go like Spectre, that thing.
Spectre
team
PA
ban.
are the two that come to mind.
The Lycan banner was pretty good though. I think.
Yeah, the carry Lycan could cause a lot of problems.
Mm.
Does the Necro definitely go off lane here? Because no one played it last game. So he was 12-0 last game. That's a pretty good
10
performance. Are they
seconds remaining.
possibly going to give it to him again?
It could be mid Necro. Viper Nyx is also a very strong lane.
Necro dumps this Ember just as hard as Viper, as far as I know.
Mhm.
So I think that could be an option. You could just do something like pick an offlaner that's good against. Maybe you go Furion, like, and you just play for full on lanes, similarly to last game, right? So you have like Furion offlane against Drow. Drow can't lane against that very well, at least. And then
Yeah.
some safe lane Viper. I don't know. It sounds kind of funky, but that's
EG
that's
did
something
it.
You could
They won
do.
with it.
So they're looking for probably an Amar hero on OG. They've already banned out the Mars, which is his classic. He's still got Slardar, Tide, Scent, Timber in the field. I think
turn
Timber
to
seems
ban.
reasonable, or Tide. What do you feel about those picks?
Ah,
The
They're
ban the
both
Scent.
very rough against Viper. Like the
Mhm.
break completely destroys the Tidehunter. And Timbersaw doesn't really help them with the problems they have right now. Like it's not really a Drow protection kind of hero. More like a
10 seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
and-
hero
I-
that just takes a lot of space himself. Like it doesn't pair very well with Drow Ranger.
5
Just looking
seconds
at his
remaining.
hero pool, nothing strikes me as particularly amazing against what Navi has right now.
Underlord, Sand King, perhaps.
I mean, Viper and Necrophos kind of just destroy Amar's hero pool, right? To some extent.
Yeah, and they do go for the PA we spoke about.